Thanks, everyone. Roll call, please.
Alderman Martinez.
Present.
Felix.
Present.
Newsome.
Present.
Turner.
Present.
Donalworth.
Present.
Florian.
Present.
Hayes.
Present.
Bolton.
Present.
Guzman.
Present.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much.
We need a motion to seat Alderman Hayes as chair for the March 3rd, 2025 regular city council meeting. Can I have a
So
first and a
moved.
second? Martinez, second by Florian. All in favor? Okay, Chair Alderman Hayes.
Thanks, everyone. I appreciate that. Agenda item B is an invocation by Pastor Jesus Jarena of the Iglesia Rabano Condonado de Lake, Waukegan Housing Authority.
Good evening. Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we come before you today with gratefulness of heart, seeking your guidance and wisdom as we gather here to serve our community. Thank you for the opportunity to lead, to listen, and to make the decisions that impact the lives of those we serve and represent. Lord, we pray that you grant us the clarity of thought, the fairness of judgment, and the unity in purpose. Help us to act with integrity, compassion, and with a spirit of service. May our decisions today here be productive. May our decisions here today will be just, and our actions reflect the best interests of the great city of Waukegan. Bless our elected officials, our residents, our city workers, and all of those who contribute to the well-being of our communities. Keep us mindful of the needs of others, and may our leadership bring peace, prosperity, and justice. We ask this name in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Pledge of Allegiance, please. Everybody, thank you for being here tonight. I am now going to read the mayor's comments. As we will soon welcome spring, I wanted to share some important seasonal reminders to help keep our community clean and tidy. It's time for our annual vehicle sticker renewal. Current stickers expire April 30th, and you can avoid the rush by purchasing yours with an early bird discount. Stickers are available at City Hall during business hours, which is Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., or online through our city portal. Senior discounts are available for eligible residents. Over the next few weeks, the City of Waukegan's water billing service will transition to a new platform. Current water service customers will receive communication on the new system that will also highlight new and improved features and new payment options available. For more information, please contact the City of Waukegan's Water Department at 847-360-0535. Next, let's talk recycling. Remember to rinse food containers and other cartons before placing them loosely in your recycling bin. And please, no plastic bags. These can be returned to most local grocery stores and supermarkets instead. Flattened cardboard, paper, aluminum cans, glass, and clean plastic containers are always welcome in your curbside recycling container. When in doubt, please check the guidelines of Waukegan's Waste Hauler, LRS, on their website, or you can contact LRS at 844-633-3577. It's almost time to spring forward, so don't forget that daylight savings time begins at 2 a.m. on Sunday, March 9th, 2025. Be sure to set your clocks ahead 1 hour. We may lose some sleep, but we'll gain more sunlight in the evenings as the days continue to warm up. Over the last couple of years, you may have received notices in the mail regarding completing a survey or identifying the type of water service line material you have, because the city has begun replacing lead and galvanized water service lines in certain areas and has identified a replacement schedule for each part of the city. Now we're holding an open house along with our lead service replacement partner, Robinson Engineering, on March 15th here at City Hall from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Refreshments will be provided, and there will be a prize drawing for anyone who signs up to submit a service line material survey. Information on this lead service line replacement plan will also be available, and residents will have the opportunity to ask questions to city staff, its consultant, and city elected officials. Information regarding the lead service line replacement plan and replacement projects can be found at www.gettheleadoutil.com/Waukegan. Finally, as our lawns begin to green up, please remember our lawn maintenance ordinance. Grass should be kept under 8 inches tall, and yard waste must be properly bagged for collection starting March 15th. If you're planning any major landscape changes, please check with the building department first to ensure compliance with local codes. Agenda item 2, resolutions, proclamations, presentations, and appointments. Agenda item A is honoring the 50th anniversary of the Waukegan Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity, Inc. Thank you guys for being here this evening.
Mr. Chair, would you like me to read that into the record?
Yes,
Sure,
please
I'm
do.
going to hand you this while you walk down. I'll read that into the record for you. Proclamation honoring the 50th anniversary of the Waukegan Alumni Chapter of the Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity, Inc. Whereas Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity, Inc. was founded on January 5th, 1911 at Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana, with the mission of promoting achievement in every field of human endeavor. And whereas the Waukegan Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity, Inc., also known as WAC, was chartered on March 15, 1975 in Waukegan, Illinois, and has since remained dedicated in the servicing of the community through mentorship, leadership, and scholarship. And whereas for the past 50 years, WAC has upheld the fraternity's legacy of excellence by fostering brotherhood, academic success, and community engagement throughout Lake County and beyond. And whereas, guided by its enduring motto, achievement in every field of human endeavor, WAC has consistently demonstrated excellence by empowering its members and the broader community through leadership, mentorship, and service. And whereas, in recognition of its outstanding contributions, WAC was honored in 2024 as the North Central Providence Alumni Chapter of the Year, small chapter category, and received the Outstanding Website and Social Media of the Year award, further demonstrating its commitment and innovation of service. And whereas WAC will celebrate this historic 50th anniversary milestone by bringing together members, supporters, and community leaders to reflect on its achievements, honor its legacy, and envision the future. And whereas the City of Waukegan recognizes the invaluable impact of WAC and its members in uplifting and inspiring individuals to strive for excellence in all aspects of life. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Mayor Ann B. Taylor and members of the City Council of the City of Waukegan do hereby proclaim March 15, 2025 as Waukegan Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity, Inc. Day in the City of Waukegan, and we encourage all residents to celebrate this organization's dedication and achievement, leadership, and community service. Adopted this 3rd day of March, 2025.
Okay, gentlemen, if you guys will come up for a picture, I'd just like to say on behalf of the community that we are grateful for your leadership, your mentorship, and your service, and your commitment to the community. So thank you. Thank you for being here, guys. Have a nice evening. Audience time.
Yes, we have a list that's coming my way from Mr. Motley. Everyone's going to have 3 minutes to speak. Just speak clearly and state your name for the record. I will read it off the list. If I have trouble reading it, I apologize, but I'm going to do my best with everyone's writing. Thank you. Mr. Motley. All right, I'm going to call the first 5. You can line up to the east side of the room. Daniel Andrade, Chuck Ruxtalis, Rayon Edwards, Joe Scarpello, and Patrick O'Keefe. Again, Daniel Andrade, Chuck Ruxtalis, Rayon Edwards, Joe Scarpello, and Patrick O'Keefe.
Daniel not here?
Go ahead, sir.
Daniel's
We
not
have-
here, I guess. Chuck Ruxtalis, I came for the whole city, the committee on a whole, but apparently they didn't get to the couple items that we had. I just wanted to mention that we handed out Lake County Community Concert tickets the last meeting, and none of the aldermen showed up. So this is at the Trapp Auditorium in the 3rd Ward, Alderman Martinez. I never got a response from anybody, given this organization's a nonprofit organization since 1952. One would think you'd want the people leaving there at 5 o'clock to go eat somewhere in Waukegan, but I guess not. I've got 2 other items that are on the committee of the whole. The one about the mayor's name signs, I'm going, really, guys, that's what the priority is, to eliminate the mayor's name on signs? It seems kind of ridiculous. You know, my take is elections have consequences. So, you know, I would just say run against her and change the name of the signs. You know, they've been around since 1849. So why change them now? I got a text in December of 2022. Thank you. I'd really like to make environmental issues the focal point of council. I haven't done a very good job thus far, but I think it's the most dangerous issue we face and a platform everyone can get behind. Can we sit down in January? This was January of 2023, 2 years ago. Alderman Hayes, remember writing this? My take is this public safety and health committee is critical to talk about public safety and environmental issues that are being buried in some other committees. So that's my comment. I support that public safety and health committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ruxtalis. I'm going to call Daniel Andrade again if he's here. It doesn't look like it. Okay, Mr. Rayon Edwards.
Good evening, council. Every time I come to these city council meetings, we are yet approving another liquor license. I'm just asking y'all, we got to be the most embarrassing city in the world. And y'all keep on talking about business friendly. Libertyville is thriving. Highland Park is thriving. Lake Forest is thriving. And there's not a liquor store on every 15 feet you can go to. I'm just not understanding, and I'm really disappointed in you black and brown aldermen, because it's killing y'all people the most. Every time you look at Lake County, McHenry County, Scanner, it's somebody that look like us. Y'all keep on talking about y'all trying to make Waukegan better. How? How do you do that? With slot machines and liquor stores? I'm asking a real question. Because all of this mess y'all have going on up here is not productive for us as people, and damn sure not for the city. People get off work after working every day. Guzman, we so sick of you. You make a lot of us disgusting. And you sit up there like it's okay with what you're doing. Like you really have some type of power. And what's even more embarrassing is for Felix to be running around behind you like you his daddy. Y'all community are embarrassed by y'all because y'all come up on this council and y'all ain't did nothing for y'all people. Zero. You not fighting no issues for the Latino community. You clowns up there trying to line y'all pockets and trying to beat somebody that you're never going to be. We don't care. This city is dehydrated. People are running away. People are sick of it. Kids can walk into the store now and get a bottle because homelessness is so deep. Drug addiction is killing us. So a 14-year-old can give a man $2 and he's going to go up there and give him the biggest bottle he wants. But y'all still approving licensing for it. And that's why everybody come here. They say, forget it, let's go to Waukegan. Waukegan got 1 million of them. They're not going to stop. That's the only thing you guys think that makes money? My grandmother told me one time things don't matter until they're at home. And I pray every night that neither one of you guys' family get hit by a drunk driver.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. Joe Scarpello.
Thank you. I'm going to keep my comments brief, and I'm going to read, which should keep it even shorter. I live on North Poplar Street. Been there 5 years. I have a fence problem with a neighbor. I've been working on this for about 10 months with my alderman. Long story short, last spring, the Glenfora Golf Club made changes to their fence on Poplar Street. They covered the existing 6-foot chain link fence with 6 feet of non-see-through canvas facing my and 5 other homes, the entire street, basically. The Waukegan website on fencing restricts for both residents, business, and commercial anything exceeding 50% opaque and 4 foot high in front and corner yards facing right-of-way. Their new fence treatment breaks all 3 of these restrictions. I complained to Alderman Donnerworth as well as the Building and Code Compliance since May of 2024. I never received a response from the Building and Code people, and Alderman Donnerworth took my complaints for 10 months. But we have still not been able to get any resolution. I've only seen this fence treatment at construction sites as a temporary fence. For instance, at the Bradbury Library, or right now at the existing casino construction site. Well, my street and my neighborhood is not a construction site. And it's not only an eyesore, but I think it also reduces my property values. So I'm respectfully requesting the fence treatment be enforced per code, and ideally I just like the canvas removed. Otherwise, if they put up a transparent fabric at the standard height, that's my request, and thanks for your attention.
Thank you, sir. We're going to have Patrick O'Keefe, please.
Hello, sirs and madams. Thanks for the chance to speak. Before I get to the topic that I want to raise, I don't get a chance to do this too often, but a public thanks to our first responders, our police officers, firefighters, rescue people. You have a lot of backing from the community, and so thanks. I have a question, and I know I'd like to hear an answer, but perhaps not during the time that I've been allotted. There's word going around, I've heard from a couple of my neighbors, and that the council voted to have a lawyer to represent the council as opposed to the legal services that are provided for the city of Waukegan. And given the fact that a famous Illinois politician who visited Waukegan by the name of Abraham Lincoln said, "A house divided against itself cannot stand." My question is, what is the reasoning behind having legal representation for council members as opposed to the city? It just seems like it's going to, set up potential for conflict, and I don't think that serves Waukegan. I don't think it serves the citizens, and I certainly don't think it serves taxpayers who are going to have to pay for, legal services on two sides of an issue, as if the city of Waukegan is not governed by a group of people who want what's best for the city of Waukegan and want to unite in finding what the best thing is. I know there are disagreements. I respect that. Everybody has the right to their own opinion. But hiring more legal representation, not to be financed by the people who are asking for it, but to be financed by people like myself. I'm retired. I'm on a limited income. So I'd just like to find out, first of all, I'd like the council to be more public about issues like that, because people know it's in the works, but they don't know any of the reasoning behind it. So thank you for listening, and I hope to hear in this location or some other venue what the thinking behind this is. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. O'Keefe. I'm gonna call the next five. Calvin Mathis. Oh, I don't have your name on here.
All right, I need to add it.
Okay. Calvin Mathis, Ludwin Barreno, Margaret Carrasco, Marion Jeanette, and Victor Felix.
Good evening. I just didn't really have anything per se. I'm just kind of caught up in what's going on in the United States, and I just wanted to say that I love my country. Yes, I do. I don't stand for the flag. I don't say the Pledge of Allegiance, but I love my country. No doubt about it. I served my country, but what's happening today in America is something that I've never seen before. I've been following politics since 1973, since Nixon was impeached or he resigned. So I just want to say to my fellow citizens that I love you. And Waukegan is a beautiful place. It's an integrated place, different people, and I love that. I don't want to be with one group or the other group because we're all human beings. Satan's got a hold on us. The word love never comes up. I've been here 15 years. I've been come down here, and I see preachers like this come down here. They never say that word love. They stand up here and I don't know what you call that. It's public prayer or something that it's not even Christianity. In fact, I don't even know what this thing is that's going on with this religious thing of taking over the United States. As you guys I've been warning you about fascism. I've been warning you. I know you guys remember it. Some of you don't even know what fascism is. But you're getting ready to get a real on-the-job training, let's say. And when the lights go out, you'll know what happened. I'm a military guy. I've been in third world countries. Hey, put my hand in the exploitation. I accept that. God knows, I repent of that. The preacher here said something about the word integrity. It's my main thing. In government, you have to have integrity. What's happening today from the very top, President Stupid, is lacking integrity. You know who we voted? Well, half the country voted for a felon. Half the country would like to go forward as a country. But right now, all I want to say to you is that love, we need to have more love. The word needs to be said. I'm tired of stupid people. I just will not deal with stupid people, even the people that come at this microphone and blast all that garbage on you guys. You guys are working hard. You don't get it right half the time, but I still love you. You're working hard. Satan is a liar and the father of it, and the works he will do. Whenever there's deception from anybody, whenever a person's lying from anybody, whenever a person's stealing from anybody, whenever a person uses profanity in public from anybody, you're doing Satan's work, not God's work. And I love you.
Thank you, Mr. Mathis. Ludwin Moreno.
Good evening, everybody, ladies and gents. I have dealt with the city, or we have dealt with the city family business for the last 30 years. That's how long we've been establishing this community. Like the gentleman said, I mean, I love Waukegan. I like Waukegan. But at the same time, we've been dealing with issues for 30 years plus. We're still dealing, as of 3 months ago, I came over here. I spoke to you guys about certain tickets that I was getting. I got about 20 tickets. They're in collection right now, dealing with the city. I have lost property. I have lost income. I have sold property because the city said, well, you guys cannot have a tow truck in front of your tow shop. Fine, we got rid of it, so we didn't have to deal with the problem with the city. It's not easy just to purchase a truck. It ain't easy. I am in collection. My wife is in collection. I addressed this issue before with the alderwoman lady. I sent an email to the mayor, chief of staff. They have stopped giving me tickets. Thank you, whoever did that. I'm done with that. Now, I gotta address the collection part. If the city, I don't know who's supposed to be responding to how they're gonna drop those tickets, what are they gonna do, because I'm not paying for it. But I'm willing to go and do a lawsuit against you guys. I have injured myself here in 2019. I filed a lawsuit in a tort case, and I dropped it because the city left me alone. After I activated well, I didn't activate it, but I placed my lawsuit, the city left me alone. I was radioactive. So, and then 2 years ago, they continued to start giving me tickets, and I said, I'm not paying for the damn thing. So I'm just coming over here, hopefully one of you guys or somebody or everybody all together get into an agreement to what they're gonna do with my case, because I'm like this close just to take a legal step and just do a lawsuit, because it's just insane. I don't want to continue losing my credit because of the city. I don't want my wife to continue losing credit because the city, and that's a different ballgame. It ain't easy to gain credit in a regular day. So please do something about it. 2 weeks ago, I got an email from the chief of staff, and he said, we're gonna have somebody call you to address these things. This is the third week. I still haven't heard anything from anybody to address that issue. And like I said, I'm not paying those tickets, and the city needs to address that issue before it becomes a lawsuit against. I don't want to even take money from the city, and there's a lot of other problems that we got to deal with, and you guys got to deal with. So please help me out here.
Thank you. Miriam Jeanette. Miriam Jeanette.
Good evening. Esteemed council members, I'm Miriam Jeanette Argueta of Build to Empower, Trámites en Inglés, a notary, independent paralegal, and marketing guru, and an immigrant of this beautiful community. I implore you, I beseech you, to acknowledge our strife as a Latino community due to recent immigration initiatives, persecution by ICE, and overall fear due to the Trump administration's deportations efforts of our undocumented pueblo. We are one people united by one language and our culture. It's time our voice is heard. Only united may we accomplish this undertaking. At Build to Empower, Trámites en Inglés, we are equipped to handle your document needs by removing language, education, and technology barriers so that you can assimilate to American society. Esteemed council members, I kindly ask that you support our community which you serve. Miriam Jeanette Argueta, 1906 Grand Avenue, Waukegan, Illinois. Thank you. In Spanish. Estimados miembros de la consejería, yo, Miriam Jeanette Argueta, de Build to Empower, Trámites en Inglés, una notaria pública, una paralegal independiente y gurú de mercadeo, y también una inmigrante de esta comunidad bella. Les pido, por favor, que reconozcan nuestra batalla como una comunidad latina debido a las recientes iniciativas de inmigración persecución por ICE y también todo el miedo que estamos pasando debido a la administración de Trump y todos los esfuerzos de deportación para el pueblo de nosotros. Nosotros somos una gente, un pueblo, unidos por nuestra cultura rica, al igual que nuestro idioma, y es tiempo que nuestra voz sea escuchada. Solo lo podemos hacer unidos, como para poder completar esta misión. En Build Turn Power, trámites en inglés, estamos equipados a procesar sus documentos y sus necesidades, removiendo las barreras de la educación, el lenguaje, al igual que la tecnología, para que ustedes se puedan asimilar a la sociedad americana con empeño. Estimados miembros de la consejería, en este momento les pido con todo corazón que apoyen a la comunidad a la que sirven. Muchas gracias. Miriam Janet Argueta, 1906, Waukegan, Illinois. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Ms. Jeanette. Ms. Margaret Carrasco.
Just on a side note, real quick, the gentleman that just spoke, FYI, the chief of staff, he's been on the beach down in Mexico for about 2 or 3 weeks, so that's probably why you didn't hear from him. Working, yeah, right. Okay, so let me begin. First of all, to legal counsel, Stu, it's been 3 meetings now that the mayor's time is at the beginning of the meeting. But she doesn't like what I say during audience time, so then she violates the Open Meetings Act, and at the end of the meeting, uses it to retaliate and rebuttal my comments. That's illegal, and I will be reporting her tomorrow and sending you a CC copy. Next. All right, so let me begin. The gentleman spoke about, made reference to about the City of Waukegan sign that you see on the roadways. Sir, let me clarify what the real issue is, okay? So in the past, let's pretend this is the sign, okay? And you just has the mayor's name, and you just put like another label on top, whatever, very inexpensive, no big deal. But no. Our mayors, City of Waukegan, we got crime, we have killings, and her #1 priority is to waste thousands of dollars. And what she did was, she went and had made an extension on top, check it out, hand-carved with her name on it. Do you think that's going to help the taxpayers, the families of Waukegan? Nothing. No. But she's just so out of it that she, to her. What's next, Ann? Is she going to put a wig on it or what? Next. What can I say? When a person doesn't want anyone to see them, guess what? As I said, smile at the camera. Or video camera in this case. Yes, folks, caught on camera. Yesterday, I had someone sent a video of Ann Taylor red-handed. During the day, instead of working for us, that's why she locks the elevator so we can't come up. She was shopping, she drives all the way to Deerfield to a discount store to go shopping when that same store is here in Waukegan. And she could have gone shopping and support our Waukegan businesses, but she does not. She has to go and hide in Deerfield. That's where you're gonna see her. You won't see her here in the office. She doesn't let us in. And another thing, when you see the video, and I'll be posting on my Facebook page, please watch, is her demeanor when she's walking. Just so like an introvert. This is supposed to be the mayor of Waukegan. She's supposed to be the leadership. Show her leadership. It's obvious she does not.
Thank you, Ms. Carrasco. The next 3, Alderman Victor Felix and Sam Yingling, Carlos Smith. Victor Felix, Sam Yingling, and Carlos Smith.
Thank you. So I want to talk about the lawyer. Something about when aldermen run, if you guys notice, they run on promises. They're going to fix this, they're going to fix that. And at the end of their term, they sometimes don't do much. The reason why is that, if you're in the mayor's favor at that time, it could be any administration. If you're in the mayor's favor and you vote the right way, they want it, then you get things done, allegedly, right? We wanted to solve problems, me and some other aldermen, we want to solve some problems, but what is getting in our way? We need to make sure that we have things done the right way, the process is followed the right way, we need legal representation on our end. We have our city council, which they work perfectly great, but we also still have another issue with roadblocks that we get sometimes from bureaucracy in our city, from the direction that the council gets, the legal council gets. Nothing against them, nothing against them. They work perfectly fine. But we need this, and this is not just for 1 or 2 aldermen. This is for all aldermen moving forward. It's an ordinance now. So say we're not here ever, and someone comes in, they want to make some change that they see, they're allowed to do that now because they have the backing of their own legal representation. So that's something that we don't see. And in terms of it costing the taxpayer money, we already have a budget. Our budget will be balanced no matter what. So we're not using, we're appropriated for the right reasons. And so that's about the lawyer. Also, about people talking about crime and what are we doing. I don't see people talking about the public safety committee that we're doing. I didn't see people talking about backing when we first had the public safety committee at all. Nothing, no support because it's not political. We have to be careful with who we can already know who comes here and makes just noise. But, we also have to call it out sometimes. Are you calling out solutions or just keep calling out the same problem every year and no change? With the lawyer and the things that we're doing, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make good change. Another thing that I want to talk about really quick because my time's running out is the development deal. It's happening in the right way. We had to first appropriate money for the casino money to get to where we're at, and our lawyers had to come together with other lawyers to talk about what the possibilities are, and that's where we're at right now. But we're all working hard to move the city forward, and we can do this currently. We're positioned in the right way to make a lot of these changes. That's why you see a lot of things coming forward, and that's why you guys see us voting for an engineer, because we're putting them to work. And that's results from the current administration that we have here. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Felix. Sam Yingling.
Thank you very much. My name is Sam Yingling. I'm with the Waukegan Community Development Partnership. I just wanted to provide some information about point number 6 that will be coming up this evening. Based upon some of the feedback we've received from some of the alder persons, we just wanted to clarify a couple things. With the incentive package, the $900,000 in upfront funding, that's going to be structured in a way that's compliant with the TIF eligible expenditures under the TIF law. The use of that money cannot be, it's a dollar for dollar use. So before any dollar can be used of that money, a dollar has to be spent for the project. And then of course, all of this is going to be, all of this will come together in a development agreement, which will outline probably a variety of different protocols that outline how that money could be used. So I just wanted to alleviate any concerns that any individuals might have. As it pertains to the use of the TIF 8 district, is based upon the city's financial consultants, is it appears as though TIF 8 is in a position to be able to accommodate the request. But it's also, I just wanted to highlight that the adjoining TIFs can also be utilized if required and if needed. So I'm happy, I know this is public comment, I'm happy to answer any questions should anyone have them. If not, I will take my seat. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yingling. Carlos Smith.
How y'all doing? I ain't seen y'all in a minute, you know what I mean? I wanted to, I always try to introduce you guys to new slang words. So the word we're going to use today is over-whooping. All right? Now, you may not know what over-whooping means. That means like you overdid it. You know what I mean? You did too much. Every day that I walk out of my apartment, which is right here, my landlord's in the building. What's up, Mickey? Every day I walk out, I have a ticket on my truck. Every day. And today, we had I think it was the trial was today, right? So the news trucks were illegally parked. So I'm like, man, they better have some tickets on their trucks. Because they put one on mine every day. So I looked on the trucks, wasn't no tickets. And I'm like, man, Joe, what is that? And I feel like truly that the parking enforcement guys, they know me because I be snapping on them sometimes. But they really, truly be targeting my truck, straight up, all my cars, because I got a couple of different cars. Because they know I'm not gonna pay it, and the bill is really high with the city. And my man said he needed collections or whoever that, me too, you know what I'm saying? I need y'all to get me out of collections, man, because that's a lot of money. But it's really, really difficult to come outside every day and see a ticket, and then I see all these other cars that people may be just visiting, but I know they're not paying a meter because I can see it's blinking red. So it's definitely tough for me as a taxpayer, as somebody who kind of puts time into the neighborhood or whatever, to keep getting a ticket every day. Like it's like 4 tickets every time. And they got a job to do, but it's kind of a predatory job because their only job is to enforce tickets. So if they gotta come outside every day and write a ticket, no matter what. And they feel like my truck is the car that they like, well, we know we got 3 tickets right here, so let me do. So if there's something, I know, I've been talking about this for a while, I'm definitely not gonna pay the tickets. Facts, definitely not. So they definitely over whooping. So if somebody could, let them know that they need to stop whooping, because I'm not gonna pay it, so that's all I'm saying.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Chair, that concludes your audience time.
Thank you very much. I will ask everybody's forgiveness. I skipped over an update from some of our department heads. There were going to be 3 updates tonight. We are going to have Director Garland present to us on CDBG. Forgive me for not having this done before audience time. Director Perfect and Chief Pazer, I think you gentlemen are off the hook tonight.
Good evening. I'll be very brief. Okay, so we could go to the next slide. Who's controlling the slide? Oh, okay. Okay, so with CDBG, we have 4 different areas in which that we fund: public service programs, public infrastructure and facilities, economic development, and housing rehabilitation program. Next slide, please. So what we have here, these are the agencies that we funded for program year 2024, just to give just an update of what we're doing for this program year. So these are our public service agencies that we funded: Safe Place, Habitat for Humanity, Most Blessed Trinity, Northern Food Bank, PADS, Perry State Legal Services for the Disability and the Fair Housing Program, Waukegan Township, the Staben House, the YCC, Youth Build Lake County, and then Zacharias Center. As you can see there, the amount that it was funded, the amount that's been spent year to date, and then the number of residents that have been served from those programs is listed above. The next thing, go to the next slide. I'm gonna be quick. The next thing is public infrastructure facilities, just to kind of go over what we've done. So we funded for program year 2024, we funded Waukegan Park District in the amount of $50,000, in which they were served 8,617 residents with that project. They are going to be doing the Hingston Park renovation. They have not started yet. They're having a little hiccup due to the cost. The cost that they've gotten was a lot higher than they wanted it to be, so they're kind of working through that issue. And then also, of course, the weather. So we're waiting on that project to get started. So that's deemed to be done this program year as well. Next slide, okay. So the next thing that we do with public infrastructure and facility projects are sidewalk improvement program. And so we had a couple of sidewalks here as an example that we did, the before and after. We have 1408 Belvedere Road, the before and after there. The next one is 1527 Brookside Avenue. That was the before and after. So for program year, we funded $100,000 for program year 2023, and for program year 2024, we funded $50,000. However, they have not started yet. They're still in the process of planning, and of course the weather, so we're not able to start yet. So Director Garland and Jesus are working in conjunction with them to be able to do this. Next slide. Some more sidewalks that were done, 1801 Grand Avenue, the before and after, the 1520 Dodge Avenue. The next area that we have is economic development. With economic development, we have a couple areas we deal in. One, we did the facade improvement program. We did Delia's Daycare that's located on Washington and Buttrick, right on the corner, 1401 Washington Street. So you can see the before picture and then the after picture. That project actually cost us $247,000, and that was the lowest bid. We did everything. We did a new roof on a lower roof. We did a softened fascia. We did all new glass, all new everything. Also, we had to do some work on the inside because once we got in, it was some damage in the inside, so we had to do the facade, but the inside of the window we had to take care of. Next slide, please. The next area that we have is economic development. We have the small business grant program. So we've had both the micro enterprise program, the CARES Act program, and the startup program. For program year 2023, we funded several businesses, Artistic Cleaners being one. Our whole purpose for this is about job creation and to be able to retain jobs. So with that, we were able to retain 2 jobs, Brandy's Transportation, 1, the T-shirt shop, 1, Takira, I don't know how to pronounce that, created 1 job, created 1 new job, and retained 4, Black Sam Trucking, 1 job, AC 119 LLC, let's see, they created 1 job and retained 4, Queens Daycare Center, they retained 2 jobs, Its Purpose, 2, Glam, 2, and Mickey Ficky Fans, 1. For program year 2024, thus far going forward, we've done Edmonds Tax Service and then Boss Elegance, and they, Boss Elegance was able to create a half a job or a part-time job and then retain 1, and then Boss Elegance was able to retain just the 1. So that's the purpose of economic development and what we do in the small business programming. The next one is housing rehab. I have a list there. It's really, really small, so I know you guys can't see it. But since May 1, 2024, we have processed 51 applications in addition to the 13 homes that have been rehabbed. So we get applications all the time, both emergencies and substantials. The next slide, please. The next slide, these are the people who actually read the addresses and the type of work that was actually done: sewer, furnaces, radon remediation, roof, bathrooms, sewers, chairlift, ADA accessibility, different things that we've addressed. It talked about the amount of each project, their complete, their low, their status in terms of their income, household size, and then their race. That's all included there. Since May 2024, a total of 13 homes that were rehabbed, 3 substantials, and 10 emergencies, and we're still going. Okay. This is just some examples of some homes that we did before and after. We completed a roof here. As you can see, the before and after. Next slide, please. We did an emergency sewer repair, so that was the before. The during and the after was a big hole, and we had to do that correction there. And then the next one, this was part of a substantial rehab in which we did a new HVAC system, and we put in a new air conditioner. So I just wanted to touch on this with the new Trump administration changes. I don't know if you guys know it, but the CDBG department here is entirely funded by federal funding. The city does not provide the city, but we get all of our funding from HUD. So I don't know if you were aware of that. So over the past couple of weeks, we received several calls from agencies outraged and concerned about the actions of the new Trump administration has taken regarding freezing of the federal funds and resources for our community. So in speaking to our HUD rep, this is the statement that we were given. At this time, we had not received any guidance beyond the details outlined in the memo. We're anticipating additional clarification regarding specific impacts on CPD funding, and we'll promptly share any updates as soon as information becomes available. Thank you for your understanding. So that's what I got back from HUD. And at this time, we're continuing to administer our CDBG program like we normally would until we know what's going to actually happen. the next thing. So I just wanted to put in terms of what it'll look like if we lose funding. And this is a source that came from having a lot to do with housing. So provide rental assistance to low-income households, affordable households, so that would affect Section 8 voucher recipients. That would affect them. Building and preserving affordable housing and rental housing, that's what the RAD projects, like for example, Barwell, that would be affected. All of these projects that we're doing around here, that would be affected. Address and prevent homelessness, which had reached its highest level on record. For example, Pass Lake County would be shut down. Operation and maintain public housing and other affordable housing for millions of seniors, people with disabilities, and families with young children. Again, the housing authorities in their different properties such as 200 Julian. Those people wouldn't have anywhere to go. They would be evicted. It would be a mess. So just an example. Revitalization of neighborhoods, promote economic development, improve community facilities, include infrastructures and services for low-income communities. So our public service programs, which I mentioned before, all of the agencies that we fund, they would be affected by that. Sidewalk and street improvement programs, small business programs, that would be affected. Investigation and enforce fair housing and civil rights laws. So Perry State Legal Service Fair Housing, they actually handle all of our complaints that we get in terms of fair housing issues. If HUD has the money, that goes away. As a direct consequence of homeless shelters, like I said again, PADS, community with stock construction on new projects. That would be like Waukegan Park District, what it is we're trying to do. Household receiving rental assistance, again, Section 8 recipients, properties, and Waukegan Housing Authority. And then the community, families, small businesses would be impacted by disasters, would be unable to rebuild. So, for example, small businesses, they wouldn't have any money to be able to help if they got in any trouble regarding their business. And so that was it for me. Was I quick? I was trying to be quick. Any questions?
I'd just like to say excellent job.
Thank you.
Alderman Guzman.
Actually, mine is more of a comment. I do want to thank you guys for the work that you guys done on Glenwood Avenue in Richland. That area went without a sidewalk, that particular corner, for many, many years. You guys did go out there, and it was through the complaints of a lot of my constituents to where it is fixed and rectified, so I want to commend you and your staff. I get nothing but positive comments from my constituents, and so thank you so much for that. I wanted to personally thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alderman Guzman.
Okay, so I'm going to get back to this, because I remember speaking to you about this infrastructure on this daycare about being $274,000.
247.
247. I apologize. It's still over $247,000 from one location. I remember getting 4 complaints on this. I even got stopped at Home Depot, and somebody said, "Is this true?" What are we doing to correct this, that this will never happen again? $274,000 seems like
was the lowest bid.
A lot of.
It was even higher than that. And
No,
you had this conversation.
Yes.
The reason with that, of course, this is the city. They're going to come in higher because the city is rich in their head, okay? So, of course, they're going to try to gouge. This was the lowest one. The ones we had were 300 and up.
And how did this even get approved? I mean, if this is the lowest bid, how did it even somebody say, okay, yeah, let's just give this business refab for $247,000 of taxpayers' money? How did it even get approved? I mean, I understand it was a previous council and stuff.
It was bidded out like it was properly supposed to do, and they were the lowest responsible bidder, and that's how they got it.
It just, to me, it just seems like a lot of money to give out.
It was. I was as shocked as you were.
It's huge amount of money. This could have gone $20,000 to 10 people, or 12 people for $240,000. I mean, this is just a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And this other stuff, I mean, new roof and stuff, is this, I mean, the qualifications, what is it, that they're low income and they can't afford to pay for this, or they can't afford part of it, or how does that work?
It's based on income eligibility, so you have to qualify based on your income. It's some other qualifications. For example, it has to be a single-family home. You can only have one property. You have to live in a property. Your taxes have to be complete. You can't have any liens. It's several things. But the main thing is income qualification.
Okay, and then this final thing is $50,000 for the Park District. I think my tax bill goes up 5% every year to go to them. So how do we keep giving them more taxpayer money if they're already getting 5% add-on to the tax bill that we keep on everybody keeps on complaining about their property taxes going up? Because, I mean, and then we're not only giving them 5% a year. Oh, and they do a beautiful job with the parks. I'm not complaining about that part.
I don't like it, but go ahead.
Well, I'm complaining because on top of that, we're giving them more money.
Okay.
It's just, I mean,
It's for the
it just
the
feels
reason-
like
let me
more
explain the
money on
reason why-
tax.
Go ahead.
More money on top of taxpayer money on top of taxes on top of taxes. And I don't agree with that.
Okay. The reason why we do it is because it serves our purpose in being able to meet the public infrastructure and facilities goal. So that's why we do it. They apply for funding, we put it out there, and those are the people that apply for it, so they get it and they win. I mean, our whole reasoning for doing this because based on a national objective and us meeting goals, and they're able to help us meet those goals, and so that's why they're getting funded.
I mean, they do a
Other
great
people
job
could
with
put
their
in for it,
parks.
But, I mean, they put in for it, they do a great job, they're like an excellent subrecipient, and I mean, they do well.
They
So,
do
I hear what you're
amazing
saying,
job with their parks. I really do think so. I mean, everything they touch is really, really nice. But giving them more on top of the 5% that we already give them, how many homes in the city? I mean, that's a lot of money.
Thank you, Alderman Guzman, for your comments. I would make one point of clarification, which Director Garland made earlier, is that the money is federal funded. It's not taxpayer dollars that's going.
What do you think the federal gets their tax money
I'm not
from?
going to argue with you about it right now. Director Garland gave us a very comprehensive and detailed presentation. We thank you for that, and we thank you for all your work. All right, I know we had to skip around a little bit here, so I think we're going to move
Alderman
on
Hayes?
to
I just wanted to make,
Alderman Felix.
I apologize. Just to clarify also, I've been looking at some of the bidding, like how the bidding works. I get where you're coming from. We need more, the problem is not that we're paying all this money. These are funds that are available. These are the only people that are applying. We need more people to apply for these jobs and come in competitive, and it might be lower, right? And it could be spread out for more projects, but these are the only people that are actually putting in the bids, and they're gonna win them because there's only like one or two, right? I mean.
Yeah, well, for that particular project, we had three, but yeah.
That was the lowest bid.
That was the
Oh, I see. So the
Yeah.
problem is that not enough people are applying for these, and that's how come you spread it out and give it to some.
Thank you, guys. We're
put it out
we're
there.
gonna move on.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Feel free to
Thank you.
contact Director Garland.
Talk to me later, anytime.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you for the presentation. Agenda item 4 is the consent agenda. You guys want to take this as an omnibus? Can I get a motion to do
I
that?
so move.
It already is.
It already is. Let's roll. You ready? Agenda item 4A is a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. Agenda item 4B is motion to approve and ratify regular payroll dated February 21st, 2025, in the total amount of $2,094,861.80. Agenda item C is a motion to approve and ratify miscellaneous payroll, PD, HBB, and CT cash out dated February 21st, 2025, in the total amount of $19,399.35. And agenda item 4D is a motion to approve vendor payments dated March 3rd, 2025, totaling in the amount of $1,104,080.46. Can I get a first and a second?
First.
Second.
First by Alderman Martinez, a second by Alderwoman Florian. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsome.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Donaldworth.
Aye.
Florian.
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you. There being no reports and communications, agenda item 6 under old business. Can I get a first and a second for agenda item 6A?
I so move.
First from Alderman Guzman, second
Second.
from Alderman Felix. Agenda item 6A's requested modifications to a memorandum of key terms for the redevelopment of 200 North County and 38 North Genesee. This matter was presented to the Community Development Committee on January 21st, 2025. Are there any questions?
I
I have a quick presentation, if I could.
Yep.
Which they're going to pull up, and it will explain what we're specifically asking the council for guidance from the council tonight. Okay, go to the next slide, please. This is the development of 200 North County and 38 North Genesee. This is a project that has been before you a number of times, most recently on February 3rd, where the council approved a memorandum of key terms. It is in support of this proposal, which would redevelop the former YMCA property with 19 residential units, plus commercial space, and 38 North Genesee with 6 residential units with some commercial space as well. Next slide, please. Sorry for how small the text here is, but I'll give you the rundown of it. On February 3rd, the City Council adopted a resolution which approved a memorandum of key terms, which was basically a summary of an agreement that would be prepared to provide financial and also non-financial incentives to the developer to assist in the acquisition, rehabilitation, and renovation of these properties as proposed. That financial incentive consisted of 2 components. One was upfront development assistance. In other words, at the time that they purchase and begin construction on this, the developer was to receive $900,000 to assist with the acquisition and renovation of 200 North County. The 38 North Genesee building has already been acquired and is actually under the process of renovation right now. Under the memorandum of key terms, this amount was to be paid for from the existing TIF 8 increment. As we discussed during our debate over the revenue allocation program, that there is money available in the TIF 8 increment fund that could be used for this. However, when you use TIF funds, there are limitations on how they can be used, and also the need that they be reimbursed to the TIF fund. If you're taking money out of the TIF fund and the project is supposed to generate increment, you would need to pay it back. That has been the city's policy, and that is in line with best practices. In addition to the $900,000 up front, there would be a long-term incentive, an incentive that would be paid out over the life of TIF 8. That incentive would be in the amount of $825,000. It would be memorialized by a promissory note that would be drawn upon by the developer over time. The funds for that would be generated by the properties themselves. So after 200 North County and 38 North Genesee have been renovated and occupied, they would begin to generate real estate taxes that are greater than what they generate right now. Because right now, they are effectively vacant buildings that generate the minimal amount of real estate taxes that you can above basically a vacant lot. So the difference between what they generate right now and what they would generate as fully improved and occupied buildings, that difference would then be basically given back to the developer over time. This is classic TIF funding. The long-term incentive would be for the life of the current life of the TIF, which the TIF district has a little bit less than 14 years on it, and it would be paid out over that time as revenue is generated. The developer would also, that increment would also need to be discounted to a certain extent if the residential portions of these properties generated students that basically created costs for Unit District 60. Unit District 60 would get about 25% of the income generated, the increment generated, depending on if there's actually students that were generated who live in those units. After the City Council approved this, the developer reached out to the city and having reviewed this with their financing counsel, their financing attorney, and said that their model and their financing for this project as a whole would not be able to work with the terms that were approved by the City Council. Specifically, the upfront incentive, the $900,000, would need to be basically a $900,000 grant that would not be reimbursed to the city's TIF fund. So, and the reason is that if both the upfront incentive and the long-term incentive were paid out from, or were going to be paid out from the TIF and basically financed by the increment, they would never get to take advantage of the long-term incentive, because paying back the $900,000 would eat up all of the increment that would be generated by this project in the next 14 years, or a little bit less than that. So they have asked that instead of the $900,000 being reimbursable to the TIF district, that it be non-reimbursable. And under the city's policies and under best practices, if that were to be the city council's direction, then that money should not come from the TIF increment. It would need to come from another source. One of the options would be to come from the casino tax fund, or the RAP money as we referred to it. The long-term incentive, they were more comfortable with, but one issue that was raised was that despite the city's financial consultants having determined that there would be sufficient increment generated between the two properties to pay off the 825 long-term incentive and also address all necessary school district contributions, the fear is that by the time that these properties have been fully renovated and are occupied, that there will be not sufficient time in the TIF left to actually generate this, and there may be a shortfall. So what they had asked for was that if there's any amount left of the 825 that has not been paid for by increment, that the city would pay, basically make good on that amount. We can't determine what that amount will be. We believe it would not be probably more than $100,000, but we don't know that for sure. So it would have to be a commitment from the city 14 years in the future. The other alternative would be that the city could extend the life of the TIF. TIF districts can be extended to, I believe, 48 or 49 years, but that requires an act of the General Assembly. That's something that is done quite frequently, but it is not completely within the city's power, so the city council cannot contract and say that they can do this alone. They can say they can make best efforts to work with the General Assembly, but we cannot promise that, which is one of the reasons why the developer is asking for kind of either in the alternative that the city would make good on this, make good on any shortfall at the end of the TIF, or extend the TIF. Next slide, please. Okay, actually, one more slide forward. Staff and Corporation Council recommendation. We have looked at this, and staff's position is that taking the upfront development assistance of $900,000 from a source other than TIF 8, if the City Council is enthusiastic about this development and wants to basically help incentivize a first mover, it would be understandable and acceptable to take this from a fund like the casino tax revenue fund, and would not need to be repaid. As Mr. Yingling stated, though, in his public comment, the money would not just be given as a blank check. It would still need to be, it would be given to the developer and to be put into a construction escrow after they've shown proof of private financing sufficient to actually get the project completed. They would have to pay basically every dollar that they pay out. We would pay out $1 from that. That would be managed through the construction escrow process. This would not, once again, would not be a blank check to the developer. As to the long-term incentive, the city still feels like no additional guarantees need to be made, that there would be sufficient incentive for the 825 to be paid out over time, and that the city does not need to make a make-good promise on this. However, we understand and appreciate the developer's concerns that they may not be able to get the full benefit of the bargain of the 825 without some sort of guarantee. I tried to simplify that as much as possible. There is a comparison version that is in the that was distributed. It was put on board docs that shows the changes. What I would ask tonight is if you have a recommendation, all I need is basically a motion for direction. I cannot proceed with drafting this, drafting the development agreement without further direction, because what the developer has said, basically our counterparty has said that they cannot sign the agreement as I was directed to prepare it. So I'm asking you for direction tonight to provide me with authorization to move forward with a modified agreement, or if you want to keep the deal the same, then the developer would have to go back and probably consider what their options are.
Thank you, Council, for that update. That was very helpful. I know I have a couple of questions. Alderwoman Florian, you had your hand up before the presentation. Would you like me to call up the applicants, or are we just having this as discussion?
Well, I think I might just need Stu to clarify a
Okay.
couple things. So even if we do your recommendation at the end, there's still going to have to be a payment potentially to the school district, even if we take the money out of a different fund?
Any project that is funded, any residential redevelopment that is funded by TIF creates a requirement that if that property generates students. Now, the unit count in this, in both of these buildings is very heavily weighted, and I'm going to look to the developer because I think this is correct, mainly one bedrooms. There are not a lot of two bedrooms. The chances of there being a large student population generated by these 26 units is pretty small. And our financial consultants took that into account. But yes, if there is TIF funding, there's the opportunity for the district to come back and ask for its statutory contribution or reimbursement.
Right, but you say here that the money would have to come from someplace else in order for us to fund this. So if it's not coming from TIF, then does it eliminate that requirement?
No, what I meant by that, and this is what happens when I try and reduce a financial, a complex financial incentive into a PowerPoint presentation, would be that the contribution would still need to be made, but basically the city would be making it on behalf of the developer.
But I guess I don't understand, if we're doing assistance from the RAP money, how do we still qualify as a TIF requirement?
Because there would still be $825 on the back end coming from the TIF.
Okay. And what about the Park District? Originally, the Park District was also mentioned as someone who would possibly want their share of the taxes as well.
So I believe that the Park District was mentioned in regards to when a TIF is extended. So right now, there's a little bit less than 14 years left on this TIF. To get a 12-year extension, you have to go down to Springfield. Springfield passes a bill that it is amendment to the TIF Act that would extend this particular TIF district for another 12 years. It is the practice of the current House of Representatives, or the current caucus leader, the majority leader, that they will not bring that bill forward until that they have gotten an agreement from the Park District and the school district that they are on board with such an extension. That's not law, that's just facts. That's Springfield facts right there. And so, and Mr. Yingling is probably aware of Springfield facts. They may not be written, but they are, you can't always get around them. And so, the context that I'd probably brought that up was that if there is a move to extend this TIF, we would likely need, it's not just something that we would ask for, it's something that we would probably need to negotiate some sort of larger agreement with both the Park District and the school district over time.
So basically what we're being asked to do is change this from where most of this was going to be paid back in the TIF district to where only part of it is being paid back in the TIF. And we still have the chance that the school district is going to want more money on top of it.
In short, it is the matter of the $900,000. That the $900,000 would not be financed on a kind of a reimbursement basis from increment generated by this project. It would be given to this project as a true unencumbered development incentive.
Can I add a few things?
Alderman Felix.
So yeah, the 900, originally when I gathered support, it was originally intended to be a grant, but the way it was drafted, and we had to get to this point. We had to get our lawyers to talk to the lawyers to make sure that we're meeting what we want ultimately do is have the development downtown. Yes, the 900 is upfront with all the stipulations that Stu mentioned, but the money that's going to be paid back, the other amount is going to come off the TIF. Now, in terms of the money given out from the school district and all this stuff, it's not in a lump sum. And Stu can explain this. It's not in a large lump sum. It's over time as it generates increment from the $900,000. So, and also, Stu, something that I mentioned before, the TIF 8 is not alone. It's bordering two other TIFs that are we able to pay off the increment off those what generates off that to continue to pay these, the developers?
The tax increments financing law allows municipalities to pull increment from TIF districts that are contiguous, that are touching the existing TIF district. So TIF 8 is bordered on the north and the south by TIF 7 and 9. So increment that is available in those TIFs would be available. Increment that is generated by other parcels within TIF 8 would be available. The catch, and this is not a legal catch or a state law catch, this is the policy of the city, has been that that the city has not historically taken increment generated by other parcels to incentivize development on a separate parcel. That is not law, that is policy. And this would be a deviation from the city's policy, but allowed under state law.
So the problem of the time running out for the TIF, we can also structurize it to do the other TIFs that are touching to continue, so we don't have to pay a large sum.
The city could agree to pay from other available funds, which could include either increment available, unencumbered in TIF 8, or from contiguous TIF funds.
One of my biggest concerns is that the city seemingly is on the hook if they don't generate enough money into the TIF to pay back the $825,000, then we have to go find the money and pay it to them. So that means if their development doesn't go as well as they hope and as well as they're promising it's going to go and doesn't generate the TIF increment, then we have to go find that money elsewhere and pay it to them. So, in effect, their project wasn't as good as they thought it would be, didn't generate enough real estate taxes to be paid into the TIF, therefore we couldn't pay them back to them, therefore we're on the hook for that money. That does not, that's the 825 component of this. That sounds like a bad deal.
That's not true. Stu, that depends on how we direct them to draft that agreement. So we're not going to be on the hook per se. It's going to come out off increment. That's why we're saying it's going to touch the other ones that are touching next to each other.
Sure,
so we're not going to run out of money.
But the increment has to be there before we can pay it. First of all, overarching issue, one of my big problems is that this was passed 30 days ago, and they're already here trying to renegotiate the deal. Respectfully, I understand it's what you guys need to do for your development. But from our perspective, if this is a multi-year project and we're 30 days in and we don't even have a contract and it's already being renegotiated, that doesn't seem right to me.
We're
And
working on
it
that.
raises, if I could just finish, it just raises concerns about what's coming down the road. Another concern that I have is $900,000. I understand it's not a blank check, and maybe it's dollar in and dollar out. Where are those dollars going? Are they going in general contractor fees? Are they going into overhead? Are they going into places that we can't necessarily track? Or are they being paid pursuant to a purchase order to an actual contractor? My biggest concern is I don't want to put money into a developer's pocket per se. If we're paying their contractors to redevelop these properties, that's one thing. But if we're giving money to the developers, that, you know, their time and their sweat equity that they're putting into it, I'm not okay with spending city funds for that. So if it's going to the plumber, if it's going to the electrician, maybe that's something we can consider. But for us, we sit here and we haggle over $25,000. We got in an argument today about $29,000, but all of a sudden we're willing to put up $900,000 without asking any questions or saying we'll iron it out later and we'll put an agreement together. That doesn't seem right, and I don't know how we can responsibly. It seems irresponsible, and I don't know how we look taxpayers in the eyes and we say, yeah, we just committed $900,000 of your casino money that could have been used for many other areas of the city up front with seemingly no guarantees. If it's a grant with no guarantees that it's coming back to us, that's concerning, and that would raise a lot of eyebrows, and that's what I just can't get past. And if we were going to do that, just playing it through, if you guys still want to do that $900,000, we need to have personal guarantees. We need to have potentially liens against other assets. We need to have methods of clawbacks, so if things go wrong, we have a way to either get that money back, seize assets, or somehow recover taxpayer dollars. And that in and of itself will cost money. So I want to know that the city has a path to recover the funds if the projects don't go well. And I want to be very clear, I want the projects to go well. I want development downtown. But the city is bearing the cost, and we have the liability. That's the scary part. It's $1 million up front, and on the back end, if they don't make the money they say they're going to, we got to write them a check. I just don't see how it's a good deal. Other questions? Alderman Felix.
A lot of the things that you're saying, respectfully, is not true. Like when you say we're going to just write a check at the end, no, it's all an increment that they're going to be able to get. That's part of the deal that's going to be written. So that's not true. We can't just say that then, because it makes it seem like we're just going to be, we're going to lose. And there are going to things that are going to be stipulated. And I saw Stu write some things down that you're concerned about, which we can take those into consideration because they're going to make the final draft. We're legislators here, right? You're not the, you are a lawyer, but you're not the lawyer here, right? He's going to draft everything. Our planners are going to look at everything. They're going to draft the final thing. We're not, if you want me to say, I have dot by dot everything that's going to be in the contract, that's what we have our lawyers for. He wrote a few things down, your concerns. I agree with you as well. I want to make sure we're very responsible as much as possible as we can with the money that we're going to be giving out as a grant. But, everything, your concerns are, I understand your concerns. And we need your concerns. We need Alderman Florian's concerns. We need everyone's concerns here. That way they can listen to what our concerns are, and they can take that into consideration, and our legal counsel can take into consideration. We're at the point where we're there. We're at the final. They can move forward, and we can move forward with this development. But we're not giving a blank check. They have stipulations. It has to be paid back in increment, the second half, and we have contiguous TIFs that we can use. That way they're able to get their funding that they need as well.
Okay, thank you, Alderman Felix. Alderwoman Bolton.
Yes, just quickly, those are some valid points that you made. I was wondering if we could give the developers a chance to respond to some of those different areas that you addressed.
Sure thing. Thank you, Alderwoman Bolton, for that suggestion. If you could just state your name for the record again.
So again, my name is Sam Yingling. I'm with the Waukegan Community Development Partnership. Alderwoman Bolton, was there a specific question that.
To the different reference points that Alderman Hayes pointed out, and maybe he can echo those things again?
Sure,
There was
everyone
like
would love
3
to
or
hear
4
me keep
points.
going. Do I need to?
Yeah, would you mind, just so we're on the same page?
Sure. Okay, there's a number of items. The $900,000 in upfront funding, you've said it's dollar for dollar. I want to make sure that the way, where that money is going is that it's not going to the developers per se, it is going to purchase orders that are going to contractors for actual on-site work. So there is a concern, I'm going to just try to get through these because I'm going to forget, so forgive me. So that would be one. I want carefully governed the way the money is distributed out of the $900,000 in upfront financing. And to be clear, I'm still not in favor of that. As it relates to that, personal guarantees from any and all members of the LLC or whatever entity is governing this, clawbacks, a path to recovery for the city. I want to make sure that the city can be paid back if you guys don't meet your obligations.
Got it. Okay.
So that's, bear with me here. So that's 2 of them. Another is a concern that I have about the $825,000 on the back end. It says here that the city would be required to pay the difference from other sources if we're not able to make those incentive payments. So if the TIF doesn't generate, if the real estate project doesn't generate the $825,000 in increment, but we're promising you $825,000 on the back end, if the increment isn't there, then we have to find another source to pay the developers for the money they didn't earn. Based on my notes here, I think those were a few of the points.
Well, yeah, let me take a few moments here to address these. For starters, I think it's very important to recognize that we are putting in millions of our own dollars into this development. So we definitely have a lot of skin in the game. It's important to recognize that because we see this as being a partnership with the city. This would be arguably the first redevelopment project to kick off the redevelopment of the downtown. And you know, one of the many things that we have discussed before with staff, with the city council, is that there is so much interest. There is a lot of interest in the redevelopment of downtown Waukegan, not just from our group, but from a variety of other groups. But the big concern that people have is that they don't want to be the first one in. And I talked to a number of developers who repeatedly say, we have a lot of interest in Waukegan, downtown Waukegan could be a very exciting place, but I don't want to be the first person. So we have to look at this as an investment into the long-term growth strategy of the downtown. With the $900,000, is that in large part is governed by the development agreement, which is a legal agreement between the city and the development team. You know, so if there are certain restrictions that you want to see within that development agreement, I mean, within reason, you know, we're certainly happy to talk about that. I mean, Alderman, if you want to make sure that, you know, certain expenditures don't go to certain line items, let's have that conversation. Let's put in a development agreement. You know, we're receptive to that. In terms of the $825,000 in TIF increment generated, is that this, you know, this number has come from the city's own financial consultants. And they have said, based upon their years of experience and based upon all the projects they have worked on, is that they feel confident that the TIF district will generate this $825,000 in increment. And in fact, they feel confident it's going to generate more than that. So, you know, I'm inclined to put my faith in you know, financial professionals who do this work, you know, professionally, to make those determinations whether there will be enough increment there generated. I think that SB Friedman, the city's financial consultants, did a very thorough job, and I think they're accurate on their projections that our projects will actually put more money into the TIF district than the 825 that we are requesting. But again, I just, you know, I want to reiterate that part of the development agreement, you know, it's an agreement between the city and between the development team. And if there are certain things that you would like to see within that development agreement, you know, let's talk about that. Let's you know, let's put that together.
Thank you for your comments. I appreciate you addressing those points. And while I want to take you at your word, I think part of our role up here is to cap the city's downside and to best allocate taxpayer funds. So I feel compelled to raise the what ifs, just so that everyone's aware of what could possibly happen and what that might look like. Because we all know where it goes if it doesn't work out and we wind up in litigation, paying lawyers, and then ultimately you get a judgment, and then you got to collect on the judgment, and it's years and years down the road. So that is one of my biggest concerns, and I just want to make sure that that's out there. Alderman Guzman.
Well, I also want to say that proof's in the pudding. The gentleman that's already part of the development has an apartment building that rented out, if I remember last time, was it within a month or two or a couple weeks? I can't remember what it was, but it was a very short time. So that means there is liable source there that it will be taken care of. But not only that, not only the, you got to think about, okay, how much money they're going to spend on gas? How much money they're going to spend on light? Home for their gas. They're going to spend for food. They're going to spend for parking, whatever. They're going to go out. They're going to go to the Genesee Theater. They're going to probably ride the train. They're different parts. So the money is actually not just the tax income. There are other factors in that. So the way I see it is if 19 apartments spend, let's say, $1,200 a year in the city of Waukegan, that's $22,800. Multiply that by 10 years, that's $228,000, and that's only at $1,000. I mean, for myself, I spend, well, you know, I'm a little frugal, so I try to not spend more than $30 in gas, no matter what the gas price is, and reach out and try to stretch it out that way. So that's $120 a month and just gas. Multiply that by 12, you're over that $1,200 mark right there. That's not even talking about the restaurants that I go to. That's not talking about the grocery shopping that I go to the little mom and pop stores when I need milk, eggs, or I go to Walgreens, buy medicine when I'm sick, and any of that stuff. So that's all generating tax income because of these 19 apartments.
Okay, all right. Thank you for making that point. I think we can move closer to a vote. Last point that I want to make is just that this is not the first development that we've had downtown. CLC, our good neighbor, has developed quite a bit of money downtown, and they have not come here asking for anything. They didn't ask for their permits to be waived, their inspection fees to be waived. They didn't ask for, you know, what is being requested here. So, and people are buying buildings. The Jocelyn Center purchased, I believe that was Jocelyn Center that purchased a big building over there. They didn't come in here asking for all these incentives either. So while I can appreciate the developer asking for the incentives, I think we should all be aware of the fact that if we give this, we have to be prepared for people to come back before us and ask for these very things. And we are going to be, our precedent will not bode well for us going forward. So with that said, if there are no other comments, I think we can probably move forward. I believe we had a first and a second, right? Okay.
So just to clarify, the first and the second would be to modify the terms of the memorandum of key terms to allow the upfront development assistance in the amount of $900,000 to be taken from the casino tax revenue, and also incorporating discussions of sufficient protections to the city to ensure that the development is completed and reaches certificate of occupancy. We can work through that. Once again, the final development agreement will have to come back before you, but I would ask for a little bit of leeway in negotiating those terms on behalf of the city. Can you clarify what your direction is for the long-term incentive and the payment of any remaining amount after the end of the TIF?
I will say that I'm opposed to the city having to write a check at the end of the TIF if they didn't develop the increment that was necessary to pay them back the $825,000. So being on the hook on the back end for a certain amount of money is very concerning to me. And it seems, like I said earlier, it's a bad deal. I've said my piece on this. If anybody else has any other comments, that would be the direction I would want to go.
Oh, can I give the direction for the, so then the back end would be paid and the increment made from TIF 8 and whatever's left would be in one of the contiguous TIFs.
I'm getting two different, there's not an agreement here on this. So it seems like there's an agreement on the first part about the structure of the upfront development agreement.
Yeah.
There does not appear to be a consensus right now as to what would happen for any, we're going to call it a deficiency in the payment and where that money would come from.
So
Alderman Hayes has suggested that basically that is the developer's risk. Alderman Felix, you are stating that money should be paid from either from TIF 8 itself or from a contiguous TIF.
Yep.
So I would make the motion.
I will need direction on that.
I guess I would make the motion to amend this proposal so that the city is not on the hook for any money not generated on the TIF on the back end.
And I'd second that.
We're not writing a check for the difference between the 825 and whatever was paid out of the increment.
So why would we do? So why would we even do that? So when we look at this development deal, we're saying 1.7, right? With this motion, you're saying 1.5. Well, it doesn't. It depends on when the TIF ends. That's what you're essentially saying right now. We're saying 1.7, whatever the amount was, is what we're going to. We're not saying we're gonna just cut a check at the end. The way you're wording it is so misleading. We're gonna use the TIF 8 and then a contiguous to finish off that 1.7 amount. We're not gonna write a blank check for a undisclosed amount. That is very misleading. And what you're doing right here is you're just trying to just shut the deal down. It wouldn't make a sense for them.
And
this is why we ask for lawyers and all this stuff, because of this whole thing that you're doing right now.
No, I'm just trying to have a healthy debate and make sure that we protect the city.
You're not having a healthy debate. You made a motion to essentially kill the deal.
Okay, listen, I've said my piece on this. I'm not trying to mince words. These guys want to be paid their $825,000 on the back end, and I guarantee they don't care where it comes from. You're saying it gets paid out of another TIF if that TIF doesn't have enough money. The way this is worded right now is that it's the city's obligation. You can call it writing a check. You can call it any way you want. I am not trying to varnish this in any way. I'm saying that we are agreeing to be on the hook for the difference if their project doesn't go as well as planned, and I think it's a bad deal. That's it. And I've made the motion. It's been seconded. You can vote against it, and we will move on.
And just to be clear, if that motion fails, then I would still need another motion providing me with direction on what to do. And so there would be an opportunity to make a different motion. But I cannot proceed, I cannot proceed with no direction. So if you want to call the vote on that, I would ask that you keep voting until I get clear direction.
Okay.
Just to
Roll
clarify.
call, please. Are we clear on what we're voting?
We probably need to explain for Alderman Donnerworth because he missed most of the discussion.
Do you want me to do?
Yep. So there's currently, what I have asked for, actually, I'll wait until you're, yeah, no problem. Absolutely. Okay. So I have asked for a motion to provide me direction on how to proceed given the developer's request. Alderman Hayes has made a motion that would allow the $900,000 upfront development incentives or assistance to be paid from the casino tax revenue. I think that there's a general agreement from everyone on that component. And then,
My motion was to take that piece in isolation.
Oh, to take that piece in
To
isolation?
take the $825,000 piece in isolation.
Oh, well, I mean, that's fine, okay. So you're not ready to vote on the 900,000?
I'm not.
Oh, okay. All right, so.
So he doesn't want to do it. I mean,
Yeah,
come
just
on,
flat
we're
out.
just playing games.
But I'm going to let the alderman state his motion then, because I don't want to put it, yeah.
All right, Alderwoman Newsom made a suggestion just a second ago. I'm going to say it out loud. We can vote on the $900,000 component of it first, if you guys would like, and then we can vote on the 825. Since this has been presented in two buckets, we can vote on them separately. So I'm willing to amend my motion to, if I can get a second, to vote on the $900,000 first and then the 825 after, so that that's clarified.
This kills the deal. It wouldn't make sense. You're essentially voting for a no deal because they can't get financing. They need the whole amount.
I don't think that the
I'll
alderman is
second
saying that there would not be a vote on the 825.
So what they're saying-
I think what the alderman is saying is that there should be a vote on the 900,000 because there may be a majority for that, and there may be a different majority for one of the other motions.
That is what I'm suggesting.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, can I just say this? If we're going to vote on something that makes sense and we can actually just start already, vote no for this. That way we can move on to the actual real deal.
Okay, so just to clarify, my motion that's been seconded by Alderwoman Florian is to vote on the $900,000 in upfront funding that has been explained to us and presented to us, and then we will separately vote on the $825,000 increment repayment after that. With the $900,000 coming out of the RAP funds, yes, thank you. So, roll call, please.
Alderman Martinez.
Nay.
Felix.
No.
Newsom.
No.
Turner.
No.
Donaldworth.
No.
Florian.
Aye.
Hayes.
No to the 900,000.
Bolton.
No.
Guzman.
No.
Okay, 1 to 8 fails.
So can I make a motion?
Okay, so the motion to take $900,000 out of the RAP funds and pay it to the developer failed.
Okay. So now can I make a motion? I want to make a motion for the full amount. The full amount will be the 1.725. 900 of that will be coming out of the RAP. The rest will be paid in tax increment from TIF 8. And if TIF 8 expires, then it will be coming out of one of the contiguous TIFs that will be still active at that time, which will be the total amount of 1.725, which will allow these guys to develop that building and also get the financing that they would need.
I agree. Second.
As drafted. That's your motion, is to vote on it as drafted, right?
However, I said it right now.
I'm not trying to twist your words, it's just what's on the paper.
And that reflects basically what they had asked for and what the developer had asked for. So it is, I'm not trying to twist anything you said either.
Right.
That is in line, and the developers can, the developers are not, for the record, the developers are nodding their heads that is in line with what they had suggested.
Okay, yes.
Roll call, please.
So that was Felix and Guzman, correct? For that one? Okay, thank you. Sorry, 1 sec. Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsom.
Nay.
Turner.
Aye.
Donaldworth.
Aye.
Florian.
No.
Hayes.
No.
Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you. I have the direction that I need to prepare the development agreement. It will be brought back to you in a final form, and we will work as expeditiously as possible to get that done.
Okay, thank you. Thank you,
I move
everyone.
that we take the next group as an omnibus.
Thanks, everyone, for your comments on that. Agenda item 7, Alderman Florian has a motion to take everything as an omnibus. Is there anything, can I get a second?
I second.
I'd like to remove C.
I'd like to are you ready, Tom?
Yeah.
I think we should just take them all one at a time because I would like to remove B, D.
Okay, we'll do it one at a time.
Well, wait a minute. I can make this easy. So rather than taking all these out, how about somebody just tell me for item B, item D, item F, and item G, how much? And here we are again, in some cases we list how much we're spending, and in other cases we don't. So
Okay, so I think I might be able to help you out with that. Item B is that we are giving parking places for $35 a month per spot. Item E is $200,000. That was a grant that was given for us to use for administrative purposes for economic development.
Wait.
No, he asked on D, I think.
D, we are getting a reduced purchase price, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a reduction from 500,000 to 375, so we're getting a better deal.
Did you have E as well, Alderman Turner? E, okay, so E it's a grant, it's for administrative use. So, all right. Okay, great. And then F is just to, I believe it's to negotiate the best possible price for city-used electricity and to join the, I'm going to say, consortium collaborative of Northern Illinois Municipal Electric Collaborative to negotiate the lowest possible price. Yes.
Yes.
I think it was 1.5 or 1.2.
1.25.
Okay. All good? All right. So Alderman Turner, you're okay with? All right.
But Alderman Guzman had requested that C be removed.
Alderman Guzman wanted C removed. Alderwoman Newsom wanted H.
So H is adding penalties for sale without a license. It's not giving anyone a license, it's actually being more strict.
Okay, so we have a motion to take it as an omnibus and carve out agenda item C for Alderman Guzman. Okay. Can I get a first and a second?
So
We got one?
moved.
All right, great.
I think H also, because I think they wanted to amend it to give some linear penalties than what I proposed.
All right, we'll pull out C and H. Roll call, please.
Alderman, yeah,
Oh, I thought it was just a motion to take it as an omnibus.
Oh, I'll second that.
We have to roll call on that, I believe.
You can actually do a voice vote to take it as an omnibus, then you
Great.
read them, and you have to do a roll call vote on the omnibus after,
All right,
So,
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, I'm going to start reading, and I'm carving out agenda items C and H. Agenda item A is an ordinance granting a conditional use permit for an indoor recreational facility at 699 Lakehurst Road in the Entertainment District, zoning calendar 2774. This matter was presented to the Community Development Committee on March 3rd, 2025. Agenda item B is a resolution approving an agreement with the Jocelyn Center for parking permits for 225 North County Parking Garage. This was presented to the Community Development Committee on March 3rd, 2025. Agenda item D is a resolution authorizing amendment number 1 to the purchase and sale agreement between the City of Waukegan and Associated Bank for 1 South Genesee. This matter was presented to the Community Development on March 3rd, 2025. Agenda item E is a resolution approving a professional services agreement with TIP Strategies for the development advisory services related to the preparation of economic development strategic plan for an amount not to exceed $200,000 under Section 2-458I4. It's a professional services exemption of the city code. This matter was presented to Community Development on March 3rd, 2025. F is a resolution authorizing participation in the Northern Illinois Municipal Electric Collaborative and authorizing the mayor to approve a contract with the lowest cost electricity provider for a period of up to 36 months. Again, this was presented to the Community Development Committee on March 3rd, 2025. Agenda item G, resolution approving and authorizing an interfund transfer for HVAC facilities repair and replacement at the Waukegan Public Library. This matter was presented to the Committee of the Whole on February 18th, 2025. Roll call, please.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsom.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Donaldworth.
Aye.
Florian.
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Omnibus pass.
All right, agenda item C. Can I get a first and a second?
First.
A first from Alderman Martinez, a second from Alderwoman Newsome. Agenda item C is a resolution approving a professional services agreement with SB Friedman Development Advisors, LLC, for development advisory services relating to parking lot B, 131 North County Street, in the amount of $29,500 in accordance with 2-458 I-4 of the City Code. This was presented at Community Development on March 3rd, 2025. Alderman Guzman, what was your question?
It was recommended for a negative recommendation, so why was that not noted and mentioned?
We don't typically note that, and I'm not sure that it was necessary, but thank you for bringing that to our attention.
It is, because they go either a positive or a negative recommendation by the committees to the council to be noted for the full council.
Well, I would just tell you that we just read off about 10 other items that were in committee today, and they were not stated that they had a positive recommendation, and you don't seem to be flagging that as an issue. Do you have a specific question about this
Because
agenda?
you did an omnibus, but this one should have been flagged as a right away when you
Thank you
read
for
it
flagging
off.
it for us. Do you have a specific question?
So why was this held up, or why was it negative, or that's why I pulled it?
You were here.
I only listened, I came in late, I listened to part of it, not the whole thing, and then, so there was a bunch of aldermen that voted no for it.
There were 3 that voted no. There were 2 that voted yes.
Okay,
If you have a specific
whoever
question.
whoever voted no, there you go. You wanted to go
You want me
through?
to say it really quick? Oh, well, if I may.
Alderman Felix.
I'll make it quick.
Thank you.
So the reason why it was that I wanted to amend it to where Chief of Staff Bridges would be overseeing everything, to follow the chain of command, just like everyone does. Currently, the planning and zoning team is the one who usually handles all these things. Just for, the concern was just to make sure any hurdles that comes forth, we're able to have our chief of staff that handles all the departments be able to take care of those, as he does with a lot of our concerns from the alderman.
Thank you for the explanation. Does anybody else have any other questions?
So was your concern met?
I spoke to Chief. He said that either way, he's going to be part of. He spoke to the mayor, and he's going to be part of the overseeing. He's going to be part of these projects.
Terrific. Roll call, please.
Alderman Martinez.
Aye.
Felix.
Aye.
Newsome.
Aye.
Turner.
Aye.
Donalworth.
Aye.
Florian.
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
Bolton.
Aye.
Guzman.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Agenda item H is an ordinance amending various provisions of the Waukegan Liquor Control Ordinance regarding sales without a license. Sponsor was Alderman Guzman. The matter was considered by the Committee of the Whole at the February 18th, 2025 meeting. Perhaps we can get a reminder on exactly what provisions we're voting on here.
Summarize?
Yes, please, because there were some concerns and I want to remove the concerns, amend it.
Okay, so this is Alderman Guzman's proposal that we add specific penalties. Right now, if you sold liquor without a license, only the kind of the general penalties that would default to, which could be anywhere from 20 to 750, but there would be a lot of discretion based on the administrative hearing officer's determination. What Alderman Guzman has asked is that amendments be made to section 3-4 of the code, which is the provision that says that you must have a license to sell liquor, or actually to sell, offer for sale, or dispense alcoholic liquor within Waukegan. And it adds a specific provision that says that if someone sells, offers for sale, or dispenses liquor without a license, that there would be three types of penalties, and they would all be concurrent. They would not be exclusive of each other. So there would be monetary fines. First offense, $1,000. Second offense, $2,000. All subsequent violations, $3,000 per violation. Prohibition on the issuance of liquor licenses. So if it was in a specific establishment, if someone was selling out of their car, obviously they're not going to get a liquor license in the future, but if it was a specific establishment that was doing it, that license, that establishment would be prohibited from applying for a license for for 2 years after the finding of liability. Second violation, 5 years after the date of the finding of liability. Third violation, that facility there'd be a permanent ban on being issued a license. Suspension of business license, this is probably the biggest hammer, that if a establishment was to be found liable, first violation would be a 3-month suspension of the business license from the date of liability, which would mean that the business would have to close, even if it had an otherwise lawful purpose like a convenience store or a gas station. Second violation, revocation of business license with an opportunity to reapply after 1 year. So basically shutting down the business for 1 year, then they would need to come back and reapply. Third and subsequent violation, revocation of a business license with the opportunity to reapply 2 years after a finding of liability. So these are pretty significant penalties. And does that summarize what you were asking for?
Yeah, so I need to modify, because this wasn't, okay, when I first thought about this amendment to the liquor code, it was meant for basically people that had no license at all. It wasn't for businesses who forgot to pay their licenses or anything like that, or some kind of clerical error, because I've gotten a few phone calls on this. It wasn't to punish them. It was only to punish basically people who just decided to sell liquor off their place of business just because they wanted to, or their license was revoked by the city or the state, and they still kept going and selling liquor. So basically, states, our city ordinance goes by, you must have 2 licenses, one that goes by the city and then goes by the state. You can't just have one or the other. You know, but as Corporation Council has said numerous times, it's very easy to give a license, but it's very hard to take one away. So this is why I thought about this, about the fines and removing the business licenses and stuff like that. But I understand what Alderman Turner had to say, that it is very, very harsh penalties for getting rid of their licenses. So I'm basically taking their whole livelihood away all in one swoop. And I'm willing to amend that to get the third violation, maybe a 3-month suspension. But I really want is the fines, and not able to apply for a liquor license for a year or 2 years, and then lifetime for the third one. For people that don't have an actual liquor license, not for clerical errors. So how can that be worked on that way? Because I think it was Alderman Florian said the same thing about the clerical error.
Can I say something, Chairman?
Sure.
So,
are you finished, Alderman Guzman? Alderwoman Florian.
My question is, Alderman Guzman, you either have a liquor license or you don't have a liquor license. We can't split hairs and say, well, you don't have a license because you made a clerical error. Well, you don't have a license because you've never had one. Technically, the people who deliver liquor are not supposed to deliver to you unless you have a valid license. They're supposed to check it every time. Now, I do hear rumors of people just going to Costco and buying their liquor and selling it that way. But we cannot split hairs and say, well, we're going to make all these rules about if you don't have a license, but if you happen to have lost your license because of a clerical error, this doesn't apply to you. Either you have a license or you don't, period.
That's why after this I wanted to put to try to fix that, because the state gives you a 30-day extension after the day of. So your license is valid for 30 more days.
Well,
So-
since it's 9:10, can we just maybe hold this over so you can work all this stuff out in your head and present it at the next meeting? It's not anything urgent. I don't know of any instance in the 6 years I've been up here where someone has been accused of selling liquor without a license.
Oh, there's
Do
been
you, Alderman
multiple.
Newsom?
It actually came out in the last election.
Well,
And
but
now we're 4 years later, and now we're here again. People selling without a liquor license, and then there's still no penalties, and then they come back to the forum and fix their issue or whatever they have, and then they come to the forum begging the city to give them a license, but then the city council is not told that they operated without a liquor license, and then the city council gives them a liquor license. That's what I want to prevent.
Okay, thank you, Alderman Guzman. Alderman Florian.
So
is that
I
a-
could hold this over one more time, but everybody, at least phone call so we can get this straightened out.
Alderman Guzman, how many, do you know or have any idea how many stores are operating without a liquor license? Selling liquor without a liquor license?
Okay, so what my understanding for clerical errors, what was told to me about 6 weeks ago, and I thought this was going to get fixed, was 100.
That is
100.
that is not
100
correct.
Wait a minute.
That's what I was told.
100
And then-
businesses. 100 businesses are selling liquor.
Let me clarify.
That did not come in front of city council.
There were 100 licenses originally identified that they could not track back to a vote by the city council to create that license. After work by the city clerk and also the licensing department, it was determined that the vast majority of those were actually issued before 2017, before the requirement for those to go before city council even was created.
Correct, and that's what Attorney
that's what
Marcus
Marcus is, and that's what Marcus
told me
is working on.
today. Yes.
So these, we need to be careful in saying who didn't have a valid license. The city's policies have changed over time. We just changed them to allow for, them to not come. That's something that happens over time. And so those businesses have licenses. They renewed them. And what we couldn't find was how they were originally granted. And that could have been 5 years. That could have been 25 years ago.
Thanks for the explanation.
I think, and I'm just going to ask to interject here. I think that Alderman Guzman and I can work together on the text of this and possibly even add in language that mirrors the state's policy. I know that our licensing division has a grace period as well that they build in that maybe we can reflect in the code as well.
Sounds great. Thank you.
When you go back and look at this, I would encourage you to revisit shutting down an entire business. It's one thing to revoke a liquor license. It's another to completely shut down a business after one violation. It seems unnecessarily punitive. So that's a preview of what I would argue the next time this comes up. So maybe that can be addressed. If anybody wants my feedback, you can certainly call me. Alderman Guzman is asked to hold it over. So, Alderman time.
Alderman Martinez.
All right, thank you, sir, Deputy Clerk, and also for the council. I'll make it brief here. First, I would like to thank Pastor Jesus Guerena for tonight's invocation. Then I'd like to talk briefly about it is pothole season. As you can see, there's a lot of potholes. It seems that this year has been brutal with the cold weather. A lot of these potholes that had holes last year seem to be getting bigger and bigger. So I'm declaring war on potholes. I always talked to Director Garland to get them all fixed, as many as possible. So please bear with me, but that is definitely on my radar and on my agenda to get these resolved, get them fixed. Also, just to talk briefly about Earth Week, this is the Third Ward collection. Thanks to Dave Motley and his crew. But anyway, the Third Ward collection for Earth Week will be Tuesday, April the 22nd, and that is going to be at 100 North Lewis Avenue, or also known as White's Field. It will be from 8 to 3 p.m. Please know what items not to accept. Again, this will be on April 22nd, so we do have some time. I will put some more information out, and also more information as it comes forthcoming. Also, I would also, again, like to thank CDBG for that explanation about the program. Again, like I said, they did fix one of the sidewalks on Glenwood Drive, and we appreciate it. A lot of residents are calling me, telling me that thanks for completing that. But I will also be submitting another one. Under my radar would be the sidewalk on Brookside Avenue and Evergreen, or excuse me, Brookside Avenue and North Pioneer. That's been kind of, there's been no sidewalk there for a while. In a walkway, a lot of times the students have to walk around in the street in order to get to school. So it isn't a pathway of Brookside going to the height to the school there. But I will be addressing that soon here. Still working on the committee for the small business. So far, I got 6 businesses committing to the committee. It's just kind of hard to get the dates in and get everyone involved, and also a certain date where we can all meet. So that's something I am working on. I am making some progress there. There will be more information forthcoming as it comes along. Also, just like to talk about the homelessness there on Grand Avenue. That's still an ongoing problem. I just don't want to address that more in a warmer week, days that are coming. So I know it is an ongoing problem, and I'm doing my very best to try to address that. I've already talked to Chief Navarro on some alternatives that we can do, but do know that I am working on that, and I feel you. This month, I did was part of the celebration for Black History. I did attend the soul food demonstration hosted by Executive Director and founder of the African American Museum, Ms. Sylvia England. We cooked southern fried potatoes and also salmon croquettes, which was one of my favorites. It was a job well done. I do want to thank her. It was very educational, as it was fun-filled. So I also want to thank the Waukegan Park District for also participating in that. If you need to get a hold of me, I can be reached at 847-390-2689. I just ask my constituents to be safe, be mindful, and let's all be a good neighbor. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Alderman Martinez. Alderman Felix.
Thank you. And one thing I forgot to mention last council meeting, I did participate in a field trip. We took a few kids to the car show. So we gathered up a few kids. This was organized by Mike Morales, and we had a few sponsors. I was a chaperone along with Representative Rita Mayfield, Judge Reginald Matthews, Vance D. Wyatt, Michonne Mayfield. And it was a great time. So we got to chaperone a few kids going out, and I believe there was a few sponsors. Thank you to all the sponsors that had that. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that the kids had fun, and we got to sit in the new cars, and we had community sponsorship, which was great. That was from last February, like beginning of February. I'm also having a dumpster here for Earth Week that will be placed on Water and Sheridan. That's going to be April 22nd from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. So please bring up all your stuff. It'll be posted online as well. And there's a few things that they can accept and cannot accept. So definitely look into those. Call me if you guys have any questions. I'm also going to have a neighborhood watch meeting on, it's going to be this upcoming Wednesday at 6 p.m. And that's going to be at La Canoa. Let me pull up the information here. I made it open forum, so that way, besides crime and all these things that people might have questions about, definitely come out and ask questions of things that we're voting on here. Out here, it could be a little hectic, but there's, at least on my end, there's a lot of reasoning for the things that I'm voting for and pushing forward for. Although we all disagree on a few things, but I think we can all agree on we're trying to make some change in Waukegan. Please come out, ask me questions. I'll be available. So that'll be March 5th, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Again, we're also trying to establish other neighborhood watch groups. This all started from a small group that we expanded and opened it up to everyone else. And you get to see some other Fourth Ward constituents that are involved. They reach out to me. I wish, more people reach out to me. Of course, I need to be out there. I understand that, and I'll do my best to be out there a little bit more. But again, that's Wednesday, March 5th at 6 p.m. Regarding the development deal, please ask me any questions you guys might have. Definitely want to do things to develop the downtown. There's a lot of other wards that are doing really well, and I want to make sure the downtown is doing well. We voted on the Washington Corridor Phase 1 engineering. That's a great step to fixing our Washington Corridor, which is the entrance to our city, which, it needs a lot of work. And a few other things. We do need an engineer. We voted on an engineer for them to allocate more help, because we're kicking it up. We're doing a lot of fixing in our town, and definitely our engineers need that. So happy that we were able to agree on a lot of things. There's still a few things that we need to work towards. The boat, we do have. We're on the lake. We do need that boat. If you can speak to our departments, and you can call up your, the police and the fire department and ask them, what our current conditions are of what we have. We do need a bigger boat, because we need to be ready in case something happens, which has happened, as we've seen in the news. A few other items that we, that list was not drafted just by myself. Alderman Guzman reached out. All of the aldermen input things on there that they feel like they need in their ward, and we came up under that 16 million that we're going to end up having. We definitely want to allocate that and push these projects forward. Again, please reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Newsom.
Thank you, Deputy Clerk. Earth Week for the 5th Ward, the dumpster location will be Greenwood in Delaware. The date will be Wednesday, April the 23rd. Time will be from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. There are several items that you cannot bring. Yard waste, liquid, tree trunks, things of that nature. If you have any questions on what you are allowed to bring, please reach out to me, 847-390-2691. And I will also be getting some flyers out in the neighborhoods between now and then.
Thank you. Alderman Turner.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Clerk. So in the 6th Ward, excuse me, earlier today we had a shooting over on Messina. Thankfully, no one was injured, but a home was shot up, hit at least 4 times. And it reminds me, I don't think Alderman Donenworth and I reiterate this and publish this enough, but he and I still have our rewards program for possession of illegal firearms, and that is now $1,000 a piece. So we got 2 $1,000 rewards available. And the way you get it is if you call either of us or call the police and let us know the report number, somehow you get the information to us, and you'll give us information that affects an arrest and conviction for the illegal possession of a firearm. Upon conviction, you get a $1,000 reward. Happy news related to criminality in the 6th Ward. Waukegan's Finest caught 2 car burglars a couple of days ago. About 6:40 in the evening, 2 guys were breaking into cars, 1400 block of North Jackson Street. That's the next block up from me. And they were able to take them into custody, and I don't know yet if they've been released. I certainly hope not, but once I have more information and some details, I'll share that as well. 6th Ward dumpster drop is going to be on the 24th, Wednesday, and it's from 8 to 3 p.m. I'm sorry, it's the April 23rd, and it's going to be from 8 to 3 p.m. at Hickory and Keith underneath the power lines. Someone mentioned this discussion that was brought forth about changing the signs and taking the mayor's name off. I want to be clear, it wasn't my idea. It was another alderman, and the idea is not to take the mayor's name off of the sign. It is to take mayors, all mayors, no more mayors' names on the sign. I agree. I don't think this city signage should be used to promote any individual for any reason. And so I'm in favor of and supportive of that, right? And the slogan, as long as I'm on that subject, you know, we have the slogan, we're a city of progress, and I don't think, and I think most people that I talk to don't agree that we are a city of progress. In fact, I think we're a city of stagnation. I would like to change that from city of progress to welcome Waukegan. We're open for business, but we need to take action to make that happen, to be an open city that is open for business. This attorney for the city council keeps coming up. I'm sorry that the O'Keefe's left. It's been mentioned before, and maybe we didn't do good enough explanation of it, but I want to point out that it was a majority of the city council that voted for this attorney. It was 5-4, and then the mayor vetoed that, and we had 6-2, so we had even more of a majority to override or veto. Now, there are several reasons, and I'll let some of the other aldermen speak if they so choose, but some of the reasons why that we wanted to get an attorney was there's a lack of consistency in some of the rulings, and it appears that many of the decisions, and maybe that's why the inconsistency is there, is that a lot of decisions are colored by favorable to the mayor's office. That's our observation, and again, there's 6 aldermen to, I think Alderman Newsom wasn't here, so 62. And conflicts of interest that we perceive as well as, and a lack of investigation into those things, and other ethical violation or ethical investigations.
Excuse me, are you accusing
No.
my office of having an ethical violation? Because it sure sounded like that.
No, I'm not. Well, let me make that clear. We're not. No one ever said that there was anything unethical about you or your team, Stewart. So I apologize if they misunderstood that. But there have been ethical allegations made against people, and it seems that those investigations are not being handled expeditiously, nor are we being kept informed of them. All right? It's not you, Stewart. I want to be very clear. It's not you. It's not Marcus. It's not Kelly. It's none of you at Elrod Friedman. We are specifically directing this at investigations pertaining to Mayor Taylor. And that's that. Okay? And that's all I have. Thank you all very much. If anyone has further questions, my phone number is 847-445-3788. Nobody's trying to hide anything. We're always transparent. Call me. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Donilworth.
Yes, I'd like to say I've got the Earth Week also will be April 24th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and the dumpster will be at Bowen Park, right at the corner of Sheridan and Greenwood on the corner there. You'll be able to see it from the light. Also with this recycling stuff, please, if you're bringing tires and stuff, take the rims off, and you can bring as many as you want. Just they won't take them with the rims. And again, you know, we're giving away rewards for convictions with gun crimes and gun things. We like to see to get as many of these guns off the street, and we're willing to help you out and have you come forward and see what we can do to start solving problems here in the city of Waukegan. Again, I want to thank the staff who I talk to almost every day. Everything's fantastic, and the response has been fantastic also. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Florian.
Thank you, Deputy Clerk. I Googled why is the mayor's name often included on the city sign, and it says because they represent the city as its elected leader, signifying that the city is under their governance and leadership. Essentially, it's a symbolic way to indicate who is at the helm of the municipality. Key points: symbolic representation. The mayor's name acts as a visible symbol of the city's leadership and authority. Community recognition. It allows residents to easily identify who is in charge of their city. Civic pride. In some cases, including the mayor's name on a sign can foster a sense of community pride and belonging. I think many cities have the mayor's name on the sign, and I think taking the mayor's name down is just going to cost us more money at this point if it's all about money, but that's just my opinion. Thanks. I'm having a ward meeting this Thursday, March 6th at 6:30 p.m. at McCall School. PADS will be doing a presentation about the new shelter that's coming to the 8th Ward. Habitat for Humanity will be there, and I'll be able to hopefully answer people's questions about those projects as well as any other issues. My Earth Week dumpster for the 8th Ward will be Thursday, April 24th from 8 a.m. to 3 at Beaver Park at the corner of Macquarie and York House. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Hayes.
Pass.
Thank you. Alderman Bolton.
Yes, thank you to all our staff and departments for all your hard work and dedication and commitment. And to my Waukegan, starting at 7:30 a.m. I'll see you in the morning. And I just want to say I got a chance to celebrate Black History Month with our public school. And we had African drummers, and it was just an enjoyable time sharing in music with them and a creative story reading. And they adopted me in their, so that was at Carmen School. I did about 5 classes, and then I went to Cook Magnet, and I did another 5 classes with creative story reading. They really worked me, and they adopted me into their House of Givers. So, and this coming Saturday, they're having a celebration of dance and music, and with, so I'll be out there celebrating with my constituents this Saturday. And then in the 1st Ward, we'll be doing a dumpster and Earth Week, April 21st. And usually I have to have more than 1 dumpster, so I expect to see you there. And if you have any questions, please call me at 224-607-8445. And I, too, want to thank Ms. Garland for your very thorough presentation. And I've met with you personally and with my constituents that want to open a small business, and she has really stuck out extended her help, and I really appreciate that. And also, as you know, in the 1st Ward, they're working on a lead piping project on Martin Luther King. I just want to say thank you, constituents, for working with them. And then upcoming, we're going to be hopefully installing our traffic calming devices. So we're working on that list to address this speeding. Thank you again.
Thank you. Alderman Guzman.
Good evening. I also want to talk about the dumpster drive on the 2nd Ward. Would be at Dugdale Park Monday, April 21st from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Second, I want to say kudos to Alderman Michael Donilworth for coming to the City Council. You see, he's in a walker. He is going through a lot of pain, and he's toughing it out. And he's coming here, and my prayers go out to him that he's having surgery next Monday. God be with you, my brother. Hope everything goes well. And thank you for coming and showing up. See, that's a real trooper. You ask what your alderman does, he comes here and does his job and moves on. Okay? Recycle. Okay, so I had some issues with the recycle, okay, like everybody else does. So when I was single, I would just throw all the recycling inside the can and just put it out there. And, you know, sometimes it'd be, it'd be windy, and then they'd recycling fall all over the place, and I'd pick it up. Got married. My wife's a little smarter than I am, so what she does is grab those bags from Walmart or garbage bags. Excuse me. And she says, well, I'm not going to pick up all that stuff. So she puts everything in a bag and throws it inside the recycling bin so there's no mess everywhere. Following week, I get tagged by LRS. Says, well, you have garbage in your cans. And I told my wife, well, next time you, and then they laughed and I called the city and about why I didn't pick up my recycling. Following week came around, I said, you know what, stop the guy and call me up. So what I found out that is not, you're not supposed to do is put them inside a bag, even though the bag says recyclable and it has the little picture on the back says it's able to be recycled. So you have to put it loosely or else they cannot bring it in there because certain people, unfortunately, they throw garbage in there and it ruins the whole batch and it's horrible. So, so even though my wife was trying to be a little bit more cleaner, my way was, I guess, a little better, even though I'm the one pick it up. So please, please, please don't remember no bags inside what you're recycling. Keep it separate. The RAP money. Okay, I was a little disappointed that I thought more would have moved forward because when we were having these meetings and we were talking about everything, it was pulled from different stuff, but I'm glad at least some stuff gets to move forward. Washington Street, which they call it the Washington Corridor, because, I mean, you go down that street, forget about it. The slow lane, it's like a disaster. You got to move over to the fast lane, but at least we're moving in the right direction. Phase 1 engineering will be completed with this, and then we can move forward. Okay, signs for mural signs on city signs. Okay, actually, I received a couple of complaints, even on Facebook and stuff like that. So that's why I brought it up. And they made a valid point. It's like, okay, why should we have a mural, any mural name on there? I agree that it should stay on there. It's on now, so stay on it now. But after that, it's gone. Put the residents of Waukegan welcome you. The state has gone away from it a long time ago, from replacing all those signs. I think the city should follow suit. I mean, put down the city of, the residents of Waukegan welcome you to the city of progress of Waukegan, or whatever you want to put down, but I don't think it should feed the vanity or anything like that. It should just be the residents and call it a day. You leave it that way until a new sign needs to be put up, 15 years from later or whatever needs to be replaced, but that's about it. You shouldn't have anybody's name changed over and over and over again. That's, I feel it's a waste of taxpayers' money. Even if it's a $5 sticker, it's still a waste of taxpayer money. I don't think we should be spending our money to doing that. Just keep it as a sign, simple. Residents, welcome, City of Progress, call it a day. Okay. Okay, aldermen not doing anything. So it's not that easy the way you guys think that aldermen come in here and they're, when they go on the campaign, okay, you go out there and you start telling people, okay, so this is what I'm going to try to do. Some alders say, oh yeah, I can get that done, I can get that done. But then when you get into office, you realize that Okay, it's not that easy. It's very, very difficult to get 5 people, to convince 5 people that your idea is good. So that's what it takes such a long time. And then conflicts, back and forth, and then if it's something major, forget about it. It takes months and months, and sometimes even a year to get through. Look at the stop signs, how long that took. I mean, I went by over there by Mike's Pizza. I mean, it looks great. Yellow stripes everywhere, 4 stop signs. I mean, people are stopping, and nobody's parking on top of the curbs. I mean, it took a lot of work, but it's getting to get done. Speed bumps, okay? It started with Alderman Turner's ward. It got some positive feedback. Now they're going to be all over the city. Okay? Some people might like them, some people might, but we don't know. But at least we're doing something to move the city forward. That's what we need. We need progress, not stagnation. Progress, just like we are said, the city of progress. And we're moving in that progress. It just takes a little bit longer. You know, some years ago, I mean, we couldn't purchase anything without requiring a bond. That's gone. You know, we can't buy everything, but at least we're buying our necessities, and it's little by little. Okay, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is Waukegan going to be. Okay, we've been around for a long time, and it takes some time to getting back to where our heyday. Okay, so we're working on it, and it's not an easy process. It's something that's slow. I know people think that it should be a quick one. It's a no-brainer, but it's not that easy. It's not that easy. It's very, very difficult. Imagine, we're just 9. Imagine what the state has to go to. The county has to go through. And then your Congress and Senate has to go through. I mean, it's huge amount of work. This is why government is very, very slow pace. And they accuse us of trying to speed up stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to speed up this stuff because I want to get stuff done so people can actually see that I get stuff done. Okay? So just a little FYI. Okay, legal services. I know I've gotten a couple complaints on this, on what just passed a couple times ago. Some were calling it political. Which I can understand why, because it's the mayoral race and stuff like that, but that is not the reason, okay? A lot of people had different opinions on the whole thing, and then we took that away from it, from being the political, because you can't just hire your friend or anything like that. When we go draft an RFP about this, we're actually gonna go to either the Illinois Municipal League and get a recommendation, or the Lake County Board down here. So it's gonna be a fair process. It's not something that, oh yeah, my buddy works, no, not at all. It'll be a very fair process. Everybody's gonna have opinion, everybody's like, okay, these are the attorneys we're gonna get, and this is how it's gonna go. Now, okay, so now there's about the money part. Okay, I'm very big on this, okay? So why would I spend twice? Everybody says that. You don't see me spending twice. You see me trying to get every penny from everybody and everything. And anytime somebody wants to put something up, I put a motion to add money to get money. So why would I pay twice? No. So we, as a city, budget a certain amount of money. Let's say $5, okay? With that $5, that's our whole legal bill for the entire fiscal year, which we have a retainer fee, which is retained by our corporation counsel, which represents the city. Okay? Now, the retainer fee might be 50 cents. Okay, so now you still have $4.50 in that budgeted amount of money to spend on legal fees, which Corporation Council does right now. So if an ordinance gets created, litigation, so on and so forth comes. And then that's how that other $4.50 gets spent. So you're basically not taking anything away. But if you hire another attorney, so all that's guaranteed is to the Corporation Council is that 50 cents. Now you say, okay, so what is the alderman attorney going to handle? Well, let's be fair. Corporation Council has to represent the city, so that's what you would find at the City Council, Corporation Council. So what would the alderman attorney do? Basically handle the ordinances, because what is controlled by the City Council? All ordinances are the City Council. Basically your laws, because we are the legislative branch. Okay? So that's what the attorney would handle. Any and all legislative suggestions or anything like that. So anything that's concerns with an ordinance would be handled by the attorney. So basically that's a simple little run through on the whole legal process and where the money or anything else would come from that. Okay, I want to thank Ms. Garland for that CDBG update. And what she did say is very clearly, please, we need more people applying for these grants. I mean, if the people who stopped me at Home Depot or the ones that called me up and said, hey, why are you giving all this money out to these people? Then apply for them. Then apply for them. See, find a need. Everything's on the website. You can go through everything and then find out what's best for you, and you might get the grant. And I agree with you. $247,000 was a lot of money, but I was not in office. The previous, I'm not sure if the previous alderman was. Oh yeah, he was in the office, but I did not vote for it, and I would never give $247,000, okay? But that is a federal, even though somebody says, oh, that's not tax money, that's incorrect. That is your tax hard-earned money. But you pay taxes to your municipal, county, state, and federal. All levels of government is paid by you, okay? Whether they grab the money from your actual property taxes, or your income taxes, or your sales tax, they get a hand of it, okay? So if you don't want it, somebody else to get the money, apply for it. They need more people. Okay, now, my last thing. I'm looking at ward meeting, March 22nd, ward meeting, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. in English, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. in Spanish. What is this going to consist of? First of all, I want to do the final vote on the opening of Willow Road. See what we're going to do about it. I know what the major consensus. I know there's a couple of people that called me up for it. And if you really want your the no vote to count, you got to be there. Or your yes vote, got to be there to get that taken care of, because I'm not like other aldermen or not. I don't do what I want to do. I ask for consensus to my ward, and my ward, the majority wants it open, but never know. They might not show up on that day, and you're in luck, and it doesn't get open. But you must be there. I'm looking at March 22nd for the ward meeting. The streets that are coming up to get done, we're going to get, I think, like 7 or 8 streets done.
Alderman Guzman,
And we're working
respectfully,
out-
your alderman time has gone longer than
That's
everyone else's
fine.
combined.
Doesn't mind.
All right.
Okay,
Just-
then,
If we could just rush it along a little bit, it'd be greatly
okay,
appreciated.
then we can discuss what's going on in our ward, our streets that are coming up, they're gonna get done, the 10th Street, 10th Street redone, Keller Street, and we can go on for more and more, but one of the biggest topics is Willow Road. So please join me March 22nd, 4 to 6 p.m. English, 6 to 7 p.m. Spanish.
Motion to adjourn.
And then, before I let you guys go, I wanted to give you guys my number, because for some reason, people are dialing 847-290-2690. It is not 290, just like some aldermen are. Mine is 390-2690. Okay? Thank you
Motion to
very.
adjourn?
Can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.